Alright guys, I'm going to give you a quick demonstration, or try to keep it quick, demonstration on some Baitcaster reel maintenance. And what I'm going to show you now is what needs to be done to your reels depending on how often you fish. All of the baitcasters essentially or most of the low profile baitcasters nowadays have the same basic setup on the exterior. And I'm going to start here by taking off the non-crank hand side over here. On most reels, you'll see that this part, this cover, will actually come off without any tools to begin with. The only thing I have locking this cover in place is this one long bolt that runs all the way through. I'm just going to back that out. I can do so by hand. It's designed to do that. And from there, I can just twist, turn it around here so you can see, just give it a twist and pop off that half, that cover. The spool will come out with it, and I can pull the spool off of there, set that aside, and now I'm inside the cover on. Whenever you open up your reel and you get to this part, all you need to do is take something, a small clean cloth of some type. I use these gun cleaning patches, just cotton material, and I'll go in and wipe around, wiping off any excess grease or oil, dirt that's built up. I've got like a little pick here. It'll help me clean, just kind of get down to some of the tighter spots. And so just for demonstration here, this side is in pretty good shape. Another reason I'm actually doing this reel, even though it's pretty new, is when I get into the other side, we should see there's a lot of grease that's going to be in there from the factory. And the reason that reel companies do that is because whenever you buy a reel, whether it's a 30-day warranty or a 6-month warranty, a year warranty, whatever it is, they need to make sure that this piece of equipment is going to last at least that long. So generally what they'll do, because they don't know what type of abuse you're going to put this reel through, generally what they'll do is really pack the grease in over here on this side with your drive shaft and all of your gears and your drag and the drag washers and basically all the working parts of the reel over here. They really cover those in grease. So an advantage I'm going to get today, even though this reel isn't dirty, is whenever I open this up and take apart and clean out some of that excess grease that's in there, it'll actually make this reel perform better just because I'm taking out some of that excess grease, which as you know, on moving parts, you take a thick grease and put it on there, it's going to cause friction. Even though it lubricates and it's going to keep things moving well, it's going to cause friction as well. So there's no reason to go in here and take that grease out if you're not going to go back in here again, because like I said, it's there as a protectant. It's going to make sure this reel is protected against water and the elements and things for a while. So if you only get the urge to go in there and do this once and you don't think you're going to go in there and do it again, then don't go in and clean out all this grease and stuff like I'm about to show you, because then you're taking away all the lubricant and the protectant that's in there. So make sure you commit yourself to doing this on a regular basis once you start it. It's better not to do it at all if you're not going to do it regularly, as odd as that sounds. So I'm going to start with this nut cover here. On this one, it looks like it just snaps on. A lot of times it'll be a single screw holding this cover on, but in this case, it looks like it just snaps on. So I'm going to pop that off. Just take a small screwdriver and try not to mar and mark this thing up too bad. And like I said, this isn't a high-end reel, so this is plastic, so I want to be careful not to break it. And there we go. So, alright, I'm going to stop talking here. I'm going to start by taking off this nut here to remove the handle. Take off that nut, the handle comes right off. I'm going to set that aside. I'm not going to neglect it though. That's, you want to wipe that down. Be careful. Look, there's a washer here that was just held on by a little bit of lubricant they put on at the factory. So be careful, you don't want to lose that part. Kind of keep those together here. And one of the better ideas I've come up with is that I take these parts off, put them on this screwdriver in the same order I take them off. That way I know which order they go back on. Now my drag star is the next piece I have on here, and it's just I'm gonna take that off by hand, loose, unscrew that, and again I'm gonna put it on my screwdriver here. I know which order it goes. I've got a series of washers. Looks like 1, 2, 3 washers that are on here. 2 of them look alike, one of them's a little different, so again I want to make sure I put those in the right order. So I'm going to take those off in this order and slide them right on this screwdriver shaft here. Alright, I'm going to take off my brake cover or adjustment knob here, and I'm just unscrew that by hand. And there's going to be a plastic shaft or pin of some sort that goes in here, and as you tighten down this brake knob, that brake knob pushes in on this, applying pressure to the spool, which will help you brake it and control the amount of free spool that you have whenever you cast, to try to keep you from having too many backlash. I don't know if you're going to be able to see this in the right light or not, but already inside this brake wheel or brake knob, I can see there's a bunch of lubricant that's in there. But I want to go ahead and clean this thing up, and getting that grease out of there will actually, getting rid of the grease, I'm getting rid of a dirt attractant, because we all know dirt will stick in there, stick to dirt. Dirt will stick to grease any chance it gets. Now, I've gotten to this point. I've got 3 screws, which is pretty normal for a low-profile bait casting reel. I'm going to go in and take those out and open up this second cover. Now I've got the screws out of this, and I want to kind of make some room here and make sure that I pay attention to what's about to happen, because when I take this off, as I pull it off, I could jar a spring or something loose in here that's just held under tension by everything being put in place, and it could go shooting across my garage. So I'm going to pay attention to that. At this point it should just kind of wiggle off. That's all I'm going to do, is just ease it off of there. Try not to let any parts go flying anywhere. And I can see, the shaft here is covered in that grease. These gears are. My big cranking gear here is also. I'm going to want to clean all that up. Now in here, a new reel, so it's not very dirty, but it's just loaded with that lubricant. To make my job a little bit easier here, and also to provide some protection, I'm going to use some rim oil. It's a lightweight Teflon lubricant. It'll actually break down the thick grease that they have packed in here, almost like a packing grease, I guess. It's going to break that stuff down to help me clean it out pretty easy. And that Teflon coating will be in there, and it'll be ample lubricant and protection for this reel, again, as long as I come back in here and do this again in a few months. So nothing too difficult here, just giving it a swab with that rim oil. Now this is my drag setup. These are my drag washers here. One thing you can do to prolong the life of your reels is, when you're not using them, to back the drag off. And when I say back it off, I mean, loosen it up. And I'm putting all this in order on the screwdriver so I know how it goes back on. Back the drag off so that you don't have continuous pressure on those drag washers, because they'll dry out over time, and then your drag won't be as smooth, and then you're going to start losing fish. Alright, now inside here, it's just all the moving parts. You can see where they had lubricant or areas they were told to lubricate amply. There's tons of it in here. Just running the screwdriver around, you can see there's a big goop of it right there. So I'm going to clean that off as best I can. But I'm actually going to go in just like I did before. I'm going to use the rim oil, spray it down, and really wipe all this out. So I'm just going to finish wiping this down, and then I'll go get back into my parts that I took off and cleaning them off as I work my way into rebuilding this reel. Alright, now it's time to reassemble this reel. It's going to be pretty easy for me because I took the time to put these pieces that came off the drive shaft onto this screwdriver here in the right order. So I'll be able to just slide them back on. Got everything put back in here now in the same order I took it off. I'm going to go ahead and slide this cover on, lining everything up and trying to just set it down on there gently. There we go. And I'm just seating everything back on there the way it came off. Now you'll have two washers that have that have like a bend in them. They're the exact same bend, exact same washers. But when you put them back on, if you didn't pay attention when you took them off, you want to have them back to back so that they butterfly out away from each other. That's how these washers work on every reel. There we go. In the handle. And the nut, and I'll just put that on hand tight. Alright, looks like everything's working for this time being. Now I've got to reinstall my spool. Alright. I'm going to take the other cover for the other side, just put it back on there the exact way I took it off. At this point I can tighten down my long bolt that I have that goes across and holds both covers tight together and on the frame or the cage here. Alright. Feels good. I don't feel anything in there grabbing or catching or that feels out of line. So I feel confident that I have this put back together right now. And that'll hold things in place. And I'm going to snap this plastic cover. Or on a lot of these it's actually a single screw that'll hold a cover on and in place. There we go. Got that put back together now. Feels good. I'm going to give it a wipe one more time here. Just wipe it down. And there you go. That's the way to take apart and clean a low-profile baitcaster booth. The last thing I'm going to do is take the pressure off of that drag washer by backing off the drag star. Make sure I preserve it as long as I can. Take the time to clean your reels, maintain them. It's going to translate into better performance on the water, a longer life out of your equipment, and more enjoyable time fishing. So, hope this information helped. Hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching, everybody. Tight lines.